I'm Alison Fennah from the European Interactive Advertising Association. I run the organisation and help our members who are media owners of global, regional and national level to grow their markets and grow their own businesses across Europe by providing them with key understandings and learnings about consumers, ad spend and other types of things that affect their business. We've all come together at this Congress today to really bring the best of the interactive industry to all of our target audiences, and providing a forum and content like this I think is really what we need to bring about a step change in the business. What we need to do is come together, enter into a dialogue so that we can make sure that all of these people are finding out the great things that interactive has to offer. That's going to be research, and some of the things that we've seen over the Congress, such as the research into ad spend figures, is so important because it's not just each market talking about their market, but it's being able to introduce comparability across those markets so that we can really see what's happening with online ad spend across all of the different markets in Europe. In the same way with the Mediascope research, we really hope to show advertisers and agencies how consumers are developing across Europe by perhaps looking at some of the more advanced markets and showing how people are operating wirelessly, consuming very advanced internet, using those services and tools in a really advanced way, so that perhaps some of the smaller markets where people aren't quite so broadband penetrated, they can look forward and see what to expect and get themselves ready for this great internet advertising explosion. I wasn't surprised by the 8 billion figure. I think for a long time we've been looking at data from the industry that's been a little bit out of date, so it's really good to be able to pull all those figures from 1 year together and provide an up-to-date snapshot of the region as a whole. Previously we've sort of had to wait another 6 months for all of that to come through, and then had difficulty comparing like for like across Europe. So it's really great that we've got something that's really up to date. I think that the UK's had a little bit of an advantage over the past few years in that a lot of the services that have been introduced have come into the UK first. If you look at things like Amazon and eBay, other tools and things that people have used, perhaps the UK consumers got those a little bit earlier than some other countries across Europe. If you also look at broadband penetration, the UK's done pretty well with broadband penetration, and then again look at some of the Nordics. So for example Sweden, the online ad spend percentage is very high there as well. So you need to look at a combination of factors, the background, what the consumer's got at his disposal, in order to understand where the share is increasing. I think another factor with the UK is that the UK's been pretty much a media hub for Europe over the past few years, and so that's really helped that market increase. We've executed the Mediascope study at the same time each year for the last 4 years, and we've always found some really different results each year, which just shows how quickly the consumer's developing and the market changing. Each year we've tried to maintain a set of core questions so that we can identify changes, but each year we've also found there's been new things to talk about, like the proliferation of creating and sharing content this year. So we've tried to introduce questions that will really explore that. So whenever we see a new trend happening out there, we try to get in at the beginning of it so that we can add some learnings for people about a new area.